welcome. I'm Katie. I'm the communications director. Uh, we just had this idea that we wanted to put together an event where our donors could interface with us directly and have an opportunity to ask questions or raise concerns or give us feedback. Just an opportunity to chat face to face, get to know us as people, and sort of kind of like on a day where we're asking folks to donate a lot. And on Giving Tuesday, we are also giving something back to our donors, and that's like a little bit of one-on-one time and interface time. So we have our whole team here today to kind of just chat about what we're working on.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. And this is something I've been wanting to do since I started with DVA in 2022. We're really happy to be here. We're just going to go through and each of us will touch base on the work that we're doing this year, maybe what we're looking forward to next year. Auntie, if you wanted to maybe start us off with maybe meditation or just an intro.
Let me mention few things about DVA first. We have started DVA actively in 2016. The way how it was started is few meditators who's vegan and get together and wanted to have the Buddhist based animal rights organizations and speaking and working for animals. Reason is we noticed that everywhere Buddhists are talking about non-violence, non-harming, and first precepts is no killing. But without knowing, without seeing that indirectly, all the Buddhists are supporting this harm, animal harm, or causing pain for all the animals without knowing, and therefore these few friends wanted to start an organization and bring this message up into Buddhist communities. Then it was slowly rolling and few people get together, and also now few months later actually then I also got connected, because at that time small retreats organized, and my first exposure into DVA was 2016. There was a chapter in Wisconsin just started, and they invited me to lead a retreat. They call it mindful eating retreat. When somebody invite me for retreat, the first I would say I want to have vegan food for lunch, and also I want everybody to have vegan food too. The person who contacted me said, "Oh, that would be easy, Bante, because we also vegan and we are a vegan organization." I said, "Oh, that's wonderful. Then I don't have any issues." And I went there to lead the retreat. That's the day actually I talked with our president at that time, who was a bar bisection, and warmly welcomed me for the retreat. Then afterward, we had conversations, and then I invited me to get join the board by end of 2016. Then we started Sri Lanka project, Vietnam project, and Thailand project by focusing on the Buddhist country. Still, where we eat meat, consume a lot of meat, and causing harm for these animals, because we thought that was an easy place to start by being Buddhist. That's why we were targeting on Buddhist countries. That is how DV started to roll. But I want to tell you, from that day, friends, people, I started to support this organization. First few years, we only had volunteers. Then slowly, one by one permanent staff, we could able to add into our DVA work. So now actually I would say we are a big organization right now. We have big name in Sri Lanka and growing in Thailand. We are growing in Vietnam. None of those things would happen. Would not happen without the support come from our friends, especially here in US side. So we are keep growing, but we can grow without support of all of our friends. And also I want to tell you, we have a wonderful team of people who's working with us, and they are working very hard because they have a very good heart, and also they have good work ethic. Because of those reasons we are growing, and I think this is one of a happy day again, and we get together everybody and staff and also supporters. Do you have any question for me?
I'm curious as to what the reception is when you approach a community, or, I mean, how do you do it? And is your reception better or worse in the United States than it is in Asian countries?
People are same. We all have very similar challenges. But if you talk about work with DVA, and we find people who is against what we are doing because of the craving they have, that it can be somebody who's born here and raised here, and also, oh, it can be Same with Sri Lankans or any other Buddhist person. I would find the same challenge in Asia too. So therefore, we all find that challenge. And I would tell you this, the intensity or weight of the challenge is getting lighter now compared to last 10-15 years, because now people are more open to hear, especially people have now more awareness. I would say that is because of the work which has done by all the people who's doing activities. I mean, who's doing activism. They are bringing those points and they are educating communities and people. There are also a lot of movies coming out and so many work. Result of all those people's work, now a lot of awareness are there. That makes easier. I'm sure so I remember about 10 years ago when we were having a press conference in Sri Lanka, there were a bunch of reporters were asking questions against what we were doing. They were so angry and they were thinking that we are misleading people. But 2 years ago, I did not see same rejection. I think when our world is getting better.
Definitely. It does vary country to country. And I would love to, so we have Shanika here. We want to let her go because she's not feeling good, but you can maybe just talk about the challenges the Sri Lanka project faces and then just a bit of background on what you've all accomplished this year. And then we can go to Forrest just to see what it's like in a different country.
I'm Shanika Gamage and I'm the Sri Lanka project director. I've been starting from 2018 and from there onwards we were continuing awareness program, basically doing all these awareness programs. We were basically starting from the awareness program and thereafter we continued doing several projects in order to aware the animal rights and pass the animal welfare bill. So that was our focus for Sri Lanka project. And we have 18 regional coordinators covered in several regional areas in Sri Lanka. And especially those regional coordinators are some of them are teachers, some of them are psychological counselors and public health officers, police officers, and coming from reputed background so that they can talk with the public to aware the animal rights and the vegan lifestyle. Especially the public health officers are concerning the health facts and educating the advantages of being vegan with the health basis. So anyhow, with all covering all these aspects, we are basically covering more than between 120 150 programs in a month that covers more than 10,000 participants. So most uh, uh, and at the end of the year we are covering more than 1,200 presentations and also more than 100 participants with our awareness programs. In addition to that, we are doing vegan cooking television channels and also several activities that can cover that can support to the animal welfare bill. So far, we have even recently we were talking to the parliamentarians so that we can get the support to pass the animal welfare bill. We were doing several activities, even as direct and indirect methods to pass the animal welfare bill in Sri Lanka. That is our main focus, one of our main focuses. So, so far, actually, Sri Lanka project went really good, went to the good level, but Sri Lanka is facing several challenges, as you all aware. Currently, the weather, extreme weather challenges, and several challenges over the time. So, with all these challenges, still we are continuing the animal supporting activities and also the vegan promotion work. So even with the flooding situations and all these climate changes, we can see several animal lovers are rescuing animals. So we are promoting those people who are supporting animals with these all these challenging situations. So that is the overall update of Sri Lanka project. And thank you so much all of supporters. Because of you, we are here. Thank you so much.
And just to add, and Bhante, you can surely speak about this way better than I can, but in Sri Lanka, the monks are not normally vegetarian or vegan there, and a big challenge that we're facing in Sri Lanka is access to vegan food. In the terms of products in the store, obviously we know, fruits, vegetables, beans, really easy to find in Sri Lanka. It's a beautiful place, and they grow everything there. I've seen for the first time so many plants I've never seen actually on a tree there. It was incredible. But things like vegan milk, they don't have vegan milk, or like the snacks that we have, although some traditional snacks are already vegan. So that's something that we're working on, is really just making it normal. And Bonti, if you want to add to that, please.
Definitely, that's one of the biggest challenge, right? Still, they do not have any milk substitute. And but some people who's vegan and they are trying to get either almond milk or soy milk, but it's very expensive. And I hope a company will start there very soon. But I'm sure still my companies might be thinking there are no enough customers for them. But again, it's like a chicken and egg, and without products, people don't have anything to try. And again, they can produce because they don't see enough customers at the moment, and therefore we need somebody brave. Or actually, we were thinking about 2 years ago, and to find maybe fund and maybe and starting something like that back in Sri Lanka, and helping it to rolling down. So probably in the future we might have to come up with something like that. Otherwise, I know everybody's talking about, but everybody says, "Oh, Bante, but what do we have for milk substitute? Our kids need something to try, something equal to that." But of course, as how Andrea said, a lot of vegetable, lot of fruits.
One last thing on Sri Lanka. So something we're really focusing on this year is seeing how effective our programs are. And we've teamed up with an amazing organization called the Mission Motor, who are going to be helping us with our impact measurement. And so we're actually this week starting to roll out surveys. Like Shanika said, we see about 140,000 people in person with our diet change presentation. And now we're going to find out if we're actually getting through to these folks and if they're changing 3, 6 months, a year down the line. So we're really excited to bring that information to everyone and the results. And it will help us too to see what is changing people. Is it the Buddhist ethics? Is it the environment? Is it the health aspect? So this is just going to make the project that much stronger. And now let's kick it to Forrest.
Hey, thank you so much. And Paulette, appreciate you being here and your question, and Risa and everyone else's participation. Yeah, first off, my thoughts go out to those suffering from the floods. I was reading about it on the news today in Sri Lanka and Thailand and I believe Indonesia. Much tragedy. So hopefully there can be some peace there. I know that's a really scary situation. So I was thinking about Sri Lanka and Bante and Shanika earlier today when I was reading about that. So hopefully everyone and your families are safe and everything. So yeah, I think to kind of go along with the question around what type of reception do we receive, I've been with DVA 7 months. And I've had a wide variety, actually. Andre and I had a great call with, we were referred to a Zen center. We had a great call and it seemed like it went well, but the guy seemed a little curious about our motives. And we were like, hey, we're just trying to help animals and recognize you. And it kind of felt like it went off the tracks a little bit at the end. I'm not sure he was thinking we were up to something. And then we had another Zen center that we were introduced to in Santa Fe, and they were like, "This is amazing. We love what you're doing," and they're jumped on board. So we've had kind of a wide variety. It just kind of depends on kind of the person we're talking to and their perceptions of what we're doing. It's a very cautious thing. I've been around many schools of Buddhism and have had every different lineage you could think of between Theravadan, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. I've spent some time in Tibetan centers and also in an insight center and a Zen center. And whether it's here in the States or I think some of the same objections happen in other countries, kind of the same defensiveness can come up very quickly if we start raising questions or asking questions and people want to backpedal and push us away. So we have to be very mindful and skillful about how we communicate. We're excited with DVA. I know this is going to be recorded for anyone that's tuning in later as well. We're launching the US project. It's called the Sustainable Sangha Collective. And the goal of the collective is to really normalize plant-based meals in Buddhist centers. And the goal is to bring in 50 to 100 centers into the collective to where now they're a part of a group and they have an identity as a member of the Sustainable Sangha Collective. And by doing so, it makes it easier for them to have plant-based options on their menu because now they're a part of a group that's doing the same thing. Some centers are fully vegan, like the Bante Center, and there's other centers that are fully 100% on board with this already. We're reaching out to anybody that's not on board or on whatever. Anybody that wants to join is welcome to join. We really feel like this aligns well with the Buddhist teaching. And obviously, the environmental crisis caused by animal agriculture is undeniable. And the facts are so powerful of how much benefit we can make. I just saw another article pop up. The most impactful thing you can do for the environment is to switch to a plant-based diet. This is again and again, these stories are being shared. So I think that's only helping our mission. So anyone that's on the call, if you know of a center who is interested, if you could introduce us to a center, that's been really beneficial for us so far when we have a member or a friend of the Sangha introduce us. We really just want to talk to anyone we can. And my goal by the end of 2026 is to have 100 centers on board with the collective. We want to set up an annual animal advocacy retreat conference for Buddhists. And it could be the Sustainable Sangha Collective Retreat, where it's an annual thing where we all come together. We have chefs, vegan Buddhists, teachers, everyone coming together, like-minded individuals that are all Buddhists who are practicing animal advocacy. So that's the goal. And as others have said, none of it's going to be possible without your help. So we're really grateful for any support that we're getting from any of the donors. So yeah, if anyone on the call has any questions about what I'm talking about or anything along those lines, I'm happy to answer. Our goal with the Sustainable Sangha Collective is not to sit individuals down necessarily and have a conversation about their choices. The goal is to meet centers and get them on board with serving more plant-based foods. And they have some really amazing stories in Sri Lanka and these Vietnam and Thailand of a center who hosts month-long retreats, and they serve 3 meals a day, and they serve how many meals a week, Andrea? I remember you said a number.
It's 80 a day.
That is impact. And I'm not asking an individual to change. We're talking about a center offering more plant-based foods. And the thing is, many Buddhists who attend a Buddhist retreat, they'd be happy to eat vegan food, even if they would maybe be even opposed to it at home. While they're on retreat, they may see, oh yeah, this makes sense. And while they're on retreat, they're meditating, gaining wisdom, eating vegan food. The possibilities are really huge for major change just by getting centers on board. So that really inspires me and makes me look forward to what the project can do in the next year.
When you're making that organization and trying to get all the centers, you're trying to get them to go vegan, or do you have a distinction for centers, or do you have a category for centers that are willing to be vegetarian? Like, I think in the years that I used to attend IMS, it was vegetarian, but not vegan.
That's a great question. And we really want to focus on recognizing centers who are offering plant-based foods and encouraging centers to transition to plant-based foods. We understand that's not an overnight process, and that's not a 100% transition. We do have optional small grants to help centers transition to plant-based. We can help the kitchen by funding them to make that transition. That's kind of a first come, first serve opportunity. That money's.
But I'm asking about the ones that are plant-based, but they aren't vegan.
Correct. If they're offering plant-based foods, we want to recognize them and encourage that. And by recognizing and encouraging that, it makes them easier to transition to more plant-based.
Yeah.
But we really want to say anyone who's interested, even if they're not veggie, not plant-based at all, but if they want to join us and start becoming, then that's what we're here for. Um,
Yeah.
but we also are not trying to hunt people down and say, you have to do this and making an argument out of it. We want to have a kind, compassionate conversation with people who are open-minded. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Victoria, so in our experience with the US Centers Project since it began, a lot of centers who are not serving meaningful vegan options, they have a fear of alienating their followers and,
Right.
losing their support, which is very valid. And so with the Sustainable Sangha Collective, we want to show that there's already so many centers who are doing this and they have not lost their community and just really normalize that this can be the standard. And another main strategy that we have for US centers is to normalize the conversation. With engaged Buddhism, we are comfortable talking about every social justice issue as we should be. It's, part of I think part of, my role here on this earth is to talk about these things. But for some reason, animal rights is so taboo. And we're all working on changing that. And that starts with encouraging folks like you all, like our supporters, like our followers on social media to just start talking about it. And that can be talking about, with your fellow Buddhist, with people who are at a retreat with you, with the decision makers at the center. Just we have to keep talking about it to make it normal.
It's a painful thing to go to your
It's
sangha
so painful.
and to have negative energy directed at you
Yeah.
because you feel a deep compassion for animals and people.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, this is heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
So I'm glad you're here with us, and don't forget we have a monthly sangha at the end of every month. Victoria, anyone on the call that's for vegans to come together with vegan Buddhists, animal activists, whatever you want to call the group, and we come together and we meditate and we talk about these things. Bante always guides us. It's a really beautiful thing. So it's really powerful to be with like-minded people on that sangha. So you can find it on our website, end of the month.
This month, we're
Okay.
doing it on December 21st. It's actually World Meditation Day that day on Sunday, December 21st. So we'll be having sort of a special meditation session for that day. And they're always at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Normalizing this conversation. That is the goal of DVA and the collective. And our goal is to help animals in any way we can. And how can we have this conversation not have so much energy around it? Well, people really do like to feel like they're part of a herd. The herd mentality of being, I'm one of many. We're all kind of doing the same thing. And veganism can seem like such an outside of the herd thing. But if we can normalize this just a little bit more, and then all of a sudden, it's a common thing that plant-based food is just on the menu at these Buddhist centers. Then Paulette says she's in Aberdeen, South Dakota, even in some small town where she says there's not many options. They could see the collective and say, hey, we want to do this too. I mean, I visited my mom a couple years ago. She lived on a golf course in a small town in Texas. And we went to the clubhouse to eat. This is probably 5 years ago. And they had vegan pizza, big letters, vegan pizza on the menu in this small town in Texas. And my wife and I were laughing. We're probably the only vegans that had been there in a decade. But it's weird, it just everywhere you go now, vegan food is becoming more and more and more prevalent. So that's the goal. We want to have that happen in the Buddhist centers.
And we do work with an organization called Balance, who's created these incredible plant-rich menu guides. So they take what the centers are already serving, but they veganize it with accessible and delicious options. And that's a free resource that we're offering. In addition to that, for the US project, we have the Bodhi Project, which we would love to encourage anyone watching this to share with someone who may be on the fence. And maybe, Katie, if you can talk a little bit about what our Bodhi Project is, since you helped work on it.
So you can check out our Bodhi project on the website. It's really cool. There's a lot of beautiful imagery. It's sort of an interactive part of our website. It really is just this way to sort of engage with the truths of, eating plant-based and the ramifications of not. And there's this really cool interactive eye that you can sort of open, like you can open your eye to see the suffering and kind of bear witness to the suffering of animals who are experiencing these, very, very horrific and tragic things, a lot of suffering in our food systems. And it's not too graphic. We really wanted to make sure that it was still kind of accessible to everyone, but you sort of have the option to kind of drag your cursor over certain images and interact, like choose to interact with them or not. And then you can go animal by animal and sort of read about each of those animals in this beautiful narrative way that talks about, you know, the Buddha's story and how suffering relates to the entire agricultural system that we have, um, and how Buddhism really ties into eating vegan.
So now we're going to jump over to Ryan. Ryan, if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do for DVA and maybe how our supporters who are currently supporters can help us in other ways, and also maybe a little bit about the auction.
Hello, everyone. Really happy to see all of your faces and hear your comments and questions and conversations. So let me talk about fundraising. So I joined Dharma Voices for Animals not that long ago, and I started looking for foundations, institutions to support our mission with major gifts. And my first challenge was to make our fundraising reach greater. And so we were focused a lot on animal rights foundations. And I wanted to, widen that reach to new foundations, including Buddhist foundations. And we have had success with that. We mobilized three Buddhist foundations that had never, given funds to animal rights organizations, but have chosen us as a grantee. And one of them is the Best Foundation. They're based in the US. Another one is the Enterscene Foundation. They're based in Europe. And the third one, I do not remember the name. Andrea remembers that. Yeah. And they're also based, in the US. And we're very grateful for their generous contribution. So this is part of my mission. Another part of my mission is to build our fundraising capacities. What do I mean by that? Well, I have worked, for instance, to allow Dharma Voices for Animals to fundraise outside of the US. And so to, yes, thank you, Andrea, the Charles Way Son Foundation. And so I was saying, build capabilities. And an example of that is being able to fundraise outside of the US. And so being able to offer tax receipts to donors outside of the US. And so we have partnered with the Maisenata Foundation, and that's a scoop. They are based in Germany, and that partnership allows us to fundraise across the European Union. And so citizens of the European Union can make a gift to Maisenata Foundation, and the Maisenata Foundation offers a receipt and then transfers that gift to Dharma Voices for Animals. That's how we secured the gift with the Enterscene Foundation. I want to do the same with Asia, and it would be amazing if we could, build fundraising capabilities in Asia too and offer tax receipts there. Another part of my job is to diversify the way we fundraise. And that brings me to the auction. And so we have launched an auction yesterday. Thank you, Katie. Katie shared the link to the virtual auction because it is a virtual auction. You can access it in the chat. And we have had many contributors, business people, artists contribute to that auction. And you have until December 14 to, make a bid and acquire some of the amazing items available on the auction. Let me mention one. We have a beautiful Buddha statue, and it's an antique Buddha statue from the 13th century. I kept telling to the team 15th century. No, actually, it's 13th century Buddha statue, and it's available for purchase. And so I invite you all to participate in the auction. I personally love auctions. I think you find great deals, and it's thrilling to make a bid and compete a little bit with people. And when it's for a good cause like Dharma Voices for Animals, it's just, wholesome fun. And so, yeah, any questions about fundraising?
I'm just going to share my screen super quick if you can see it. I just think it's so incredible that someone donated this statue to our auction. It's just really beautiful and very antique. So
How tall is that auction, that statue?
Probably not 20 feet. I don't know how we'll ship that.
that'd be a lot of shipping. I think it's only 6 inches tall, I
Oh,
believe. So
that's
it's
beautiful. Yeah.
pretty short.
That would fit in my van, is why I'm wondering. I'm like, maybe I'll put that in the van.
On the topic of fundraising, if I could just mention, we've had two really successful fundraising campaigns that I'm just so proud of that I really wanted to share and mention. And the first was our Thailand nutrition fundraiser. We had a campaign goal of $5,000, and we actually raised over $1,000, $1,121. And we had 24 donations, which was incredible. And we actually had our match for that. So we were able to get over $2,000 for the Thailand fundraiser. And that was to supply vegan cookbooks to folks in Thailand. And so $10 donated one book. $2,000 is around 200 books that we were able to donate to folks, which is just we're so happy with that, and we're so grateful for all the folks who donated and shared the campaign.
Yeah, and just an extra thank you to everyone who's given on this call or who's watching this video, especially now with how really challenging times are financially for many people. And so just, putting your trust in the work that we're doing and making sure that we can continue to help animals, beyond this has just been incredible to see. So I wanted to just thank you all from the bottom of my heart, making sure that we can continue to do this work and one day reach a world where no animals are harmed. So thank you. And Katie, if you wanted to talk a little bit about your work.
I am our communications director, so I do a lot of the behind the scenes work. I help our workflow and our efficiency. So I think the biggest thing to report on is that earlier this year, we actually launched a whole new website platform. We have a new logo, we have new branding. So if you've been with us a long time, you might remember our older logo, our colors were a little bit louder, and we've sort of muted them a bit, made them a little more easy to use for our marketing and branding. And our website is absolutely beautiful. It's really easy to navigate. We've got everything all in one place. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I really encourage you to do so. I also do a lot of work helping with our newsletters. Um, if you've gotten any of our newsletters, which if you're on this call, you did get a newsletter, I sort of help with pushing those out and formatting them and that sort of thing. And I do also do the promotion and flow of our monthly sanghas, which we mentioned earlier. Our sangha is coming up on December 21st. 21st. Those are always on the last Sunday of the month, except for this month, it is the second to last Sunday to align with World Meditation Day. And those happen at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I guess lastly, not to promote consumerism too much, but we do have a new store that is launched. So if you do want to make a purchase, it actually, all the money goes to support our organization directly. And wearing our logo helps spread the word about our organization and our mission. And I know a lot of us on the call are wearing some Dharma Voices for Animals merchandise. So, it could be a really good Christmas present for a loved one or for yourself to also support Dharma Voices for Animals. And that's kind of what I work on.
A few closing words. A little bit about myself. I grew up on a farm just about a mile or two from where I am now. Some of my earliest memories were of slaughter. I watched a video of a chicken slaughterhouse on Facebook that I happened to scroll by, and the caption said, "You can't love animals and eat them too." And I watched this before I even knew what Buddhism was, and that really, really stuck with me. I ended up um, diving headfirst into advocacy and doing some undercover investigation work in farms and slaughterhouses in a few countries. And what I witnessed in those farms and slaughterhouses was uh, so atrocious that it led to a mental health issue. I had panic disorder, I had general anxiety disorder, things I had not dealt with before. And that led me to meditation, which led me to Buddhism and led me to DVA. And when I reflect back on those times in the farms and in the slaughterhouses, and with everything I've learned about Buddhism, it's really hard for me to think what the Buddha would think if he saw, what was happening to those animals on those farms and in those slaughterhouses. And I really think that if he, uh, you know, were around, that he would not approve of the horror that's happening to those beings. And so, this is why we're all here. We're all here because we believe that all beings deserve equality and freedom from harm and bodily autonomy. And although I wish none of us needed to be here to do this work because that means all animals would be free, I'm so grateful for all of our team here and all of our supporters who allow us to do this work. And I think we're so lucky to have people like you, like I said, who trust us, who know that we're going to get the job done and who continue to support us. So, if you have supported us in the past, thank you so much. If you want to learn more about us, please reach out to any of us on this call. We would love to speak with you and get to know you more. I hope we can do this again very soon because I want to know who you all are as well. And yes, thank you so much for everything you all do. And until next time.